And we're back with Mr. Fantasy. Mr. Fantasy, thanks for taking a break. You got your water.
Yep.
Told some stories, told a few lies. And we're back.
Apparently I did lie.
Yeah.
I didn't know I lied.
Yeah, what was the lie, Jerry?
He said he had never been a babyface since that point, and I tagged with him in Milton as a babyface team against...
So I lied. I didn't remember.
No, it's
Dwayne
fine.
McLeod and Danny Rollins.
Jerry Reiner matches are forgettable. They're very forgettable.
Yeah.
Speaking of Highland, I know who that is. I worked a show for Jerry in the Walmart parking
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
Motherfucker had me work 3 times.
Was it 3? I thought it was twice.
That's how
3.
110.
It was 100.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was awful. It was
I changed
so bad.
gimmicks 3 times. I wouldn't even miss. I was not Miss Fantasy. I was
Nope.
not Flash Fan. I was
You were the executioner?
Executioner on one.
Did you wear a
A
hood?
ninja?
Yeah, a ninja. I wore 2 hoods. There were 3. I may have worked twice. Maybe it was just twice.
I think it was just twice.
Because I worked the Highlander in one.
And Kato Storm.
And then Kato Storm in the last one. But I got like a 1-match break, just a change. So 150 fucking degrees outside.
It was for the Children's Miracle Network, man. It was for the kids.
It's a miracle he didn't die.
Exactly.
Hey, we were all dying.
We were in a fucking tent, changing, with fans blowing hot air on us. Was it cold air?
Nice.
He's like, you need to change, man. You're after this match. I'm like, God damn. I just got, dying.
In the 10, I accidentally saw Danny Rollins' penis, and it was a traumatic event for me.
That's horrible.
It looked like a...
Whatever happened to that kid?
What?
Kid? He looked like, what?
I don't know, he just quit.
He just quit? Because he was
We
actually,
actually talked about that in Bobby's shoot we just did.
he was actually good. He was
that a
pretty
nail?
good.
Oh, yeah.
He could do all the high flying.
Very acrobatic.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember working that show.
Take the reins, Kyle. We're
No, man. Let it go.
this is going south quick.
No, it was great. One of the things that we were talking about earlier was we talked about how you felt physically about your match. We talked about mentally what you thought about your match. I want to know what emotionally what you thought about your matches. Thank you for the word. And I want to know the stick, your mic work. To me, that's the Mr. Fantasy gimmick, is the From Every Woman's Fantasy. How did you develop that character?
Going back to the emotion thing with the first match.
Right.
I had my daughter. She was 2. She's seen her dad get her ass whooped. She doesn't. She's 2.
Right.
So that was kind of emotional because she came back and squawked. My dad had literally bring her to the back to make sure her dad was okay, because I was all she had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom had gone. It was just me.
Sure.
And so emotionally it kind of broke down because of that. Because I thought twice about wrestling at the time because I didn't know how she'd be. I mean, she was hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
To the point, my dad just he thought I got beat up. I mean, she saw me getting hanged. I did get my ass beat, but she didn't, but,
It's hard to disconnect, yeah.
Right, so I did have second thoughts for a week or so about not.
Really?
Because I didn't know how I didn't want either, it was not do it, or do it not take her. But she went where I went, because I was all she had at the time.
Right.
This was before, me and who's now my wife, Sexy Samantha, at the time, we just started dating. And so she really, she helped me with her, but at the time, my little girl didn't even like her. I'm just being honest. She's like, "Who's this woman coming between me and my dad?" That's how kids feel.
Sure.
But emotionally, at the time, I was like, I didn't know if I want to do it anymore.
Wow.
But then, I thought about it, and I thought, well, just explain to her. She's only 2, we kind of hard to explain, but we'll explain best we can.
Daddy's pretending.
That is just
Now she
pretending.
could probably run her own show.
Yeah, she could run her. She could run her own show.
What's she doing on the 3rd?
She'll be 11 next month, and she can tell you who's going to win the match. Just by what she was sitting and watching, like, this guy's going to win.
Really?
She could write, because she's been since she was 2,
Right.
Yeah.
Been out there the whole time.
Yeah, they need her on SmackDown.
My son, he thinks it's all real, and he just beat the hell out of me still. So
He has plenty of gimmicks he could have given.
Yeah,
me.
he's got gimmicks out that ass, man.
Really?
My son,
He needs to go
he gave me a gimmick.
What's he doing for
Bobby
lunch
LaBelle.
next Sunday?
Yeah. What was it? Big Bobby LaBelle. I was Mexican. I wore a mask.
Awesome.
We wrestled.
Dragon feet.
Dragon feet.
Dragon feet?
Yeah. Kenny Tent.
Dragon
is
feet.
Is
I get it.
Kenny Tent is his newest
champion
one.
of the house.
He's the champion of the house.
Kenny Feet?
Kenny
Like,
Tent.
Tent.
Kenny Tent.
That's
And Dragon Feet.
Dragon feet. That's one of his stupid ones he come up with.
That sounds
No, that's
stupid.
that's a double meaning. Like you're dragging your feet, dragon feet.
What was the other
That's
one?
awesome.
There was Kenny Tent, Dragon Feet, Big Bobby LaBelle was mine.
He comes up.
I mean, he just out of the blue, he comes up.
Yeah, that's like
He has an
Yeah,
entire
like-
promotion.
that's like
He's got one now
Yeah.
called because of Super Eric on TNA. It's
he's-
called Super Activity.
Super.
That's what he is. He's got a mask.
Where'd the word activity come
I
from?
have
matter.
no idea.
That's like Dan. It's like Dan Druff The guy who's got the all-black gimmick with just white on the shoulders?
Yeah. But yeah, super activity. He wears a mask, and he's got his little
blanket
tied on his neck.
Sweet.
You know.
How old is he?
He's 7.
Yeah, give him about 10 years, he'll be super over.
You know, but he didn't understand. I'm trying to tell him, we don't really hit each other. You know, and he's just whacking me in the face all the time. He about knocked me out about a year and a half ago. We had boxing gloves on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, covering, and I was like, he went away. I stood up, he punched me right in the face. And granted, it's boxing weighs 16 ounces.
Right.
He was swinging as hard as he could. I was like, oh my God. Got him all lightheaded. You got him right in the jaw. And I was like, oh God. I had to lay my head down. He's like, Mama, I knocked Daddy out. He's all excited about it. Ain't worried about Daddy. He's for Daddy. You know, he's gonna run around the house. Woo!
Sure.
He likes that strong style.
Yes, he does.
Book him in Japan.
He does, man. And he just loves it. That and football. That's all he talks about.
Really?
So, you know, kind of go football and basketball hand in hand in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but anyways, back to we go off
no, it's cool, man.
Pig trails.
I want to talk about your mic work. Were you comfortable with it? When did you start?
Not when I first knew.
Did you practice in front of a mirror? I hear that a lot.
No, I never practiced in front of the mirror. I knew. It's like me and my dad. I said we're not real close. He kind of over time showed me this and that, and he always told me it's not how good you can wrestle; it's how good you can put yourself over. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, Brian, for example, Road Dogg. He'll tell you he can't wrestle a leg. He'll tell you himself. He's a great seller, but he says but his stick work gets him over. So he don't got to work. You know what I'm saying? He does the stick work and he's in. He can get there and do the shits, but still do the stick work and he's good to go. But the thing about Brian, he's a really good seller.
Sure.
And when it comes, he'll tell you himself, I can't.
And he can bump his ass off.
Yeah, he bump, but he'll tell you himself. He's not, love Brian, and he told me that himself. I'm not a great worker. I'm the stick guy.
Sure.
Brad's the worker, Brian's the stick guy, Scotty's just a good guy, and Steve was the powerhouse.
Uh-huh.
That's how it worked. Scotty's just it's like Dan Delicious told me. Scotty's the only guy he knows that could whack you off, and you never know that's how light he is.
Yeah.
When you lock up with him.
I've heard Scott is he's tremendous on the mic.
Is a heel.
Yes.
Even as a baby, and we'll get into those a little later. I got some Scott stories that are pretty funny. Because Scott's just great. I love Scott to death. He's my favorite one out of the group.
Yeah.
But back to the Steve thing. I worked a couple more shows with Steve. Kind of, as Mr. Fantasy, and he got me booked in Dothan. Steve did under Southeastern Extreme Wrestling. Mm-hmm. I think Colby, BTY, touched on. So Will Pritchard.
Yeah, he talked about it a little bit.
He's an idiot. Has no. I guarantee you right now, if he was running a show tonight, we could pull the card up. It'd be the Backstreet Brawler, which is who he is, Will Pritchard. Backstreet Brawler versus Luke Goldberg. It's always the main event in every show they ever do. It's oh my God, their matches. Yes, marathons. But it'll just be like the same shit. And when it's over, there'll be 15 people at the ring, and there'll be, you know what I mean? And it's just horrible,
Right.
But I started over there,
Luke
and that's kind of where he's a big dude. But I think he was kind of given that name
because he's Jewish, right?
I worked over there, and I worked. Started working DJ some more Oz, but we didn't do any hardcore stuff. It was just straight, actual working matches. And that's kind of where I started developing the whole mic thing, as I would, and it's kind of like, don't know what you're going to say. I have no clue. Be beating my brains out in the back. Mm-hmm. And when you hit the ring, you hand you the mic, it just flows.
Right.
It just I've never thought of anything I was ever going to say. Look, I've tried. I've tried. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to say? It's a new town. What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because if you watch the New Age Outlaws shoot on our video, Brian says exactly the same thing. He says
I haven't seen that one.
Him and Billy Gunn would be in the gorilla position, and he'd be like, I got no fucking idea what I'm going to say. And then he'd go out there, and it would always be gold.